Welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio. I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. And when I started this show in 2008, I was on a mission to promote women-owned businesses and help women succeed by providing resources and valuable tips from other women and men, small business owners. In each interview, my guests speak openly about their triumphs, the scary times, and tough decisions they had to make along the way. Women Entrepreneurs Radio is about showing women how to harness their natural strengths to achieve success on their own terms. Hi everyone, welcome to Women Entrepreneurs Radio. I'm your host, Deborah Bailey. I'm really glad that you could join me today. And if you're listening to this on Podomatic, you can also listen to this on iTunes. If you don't have that link, and you can go to womenentrepreneursecrets.com and you will see in the menu bar, it says radio. Click on that and you'll come to the page that shows the different places you can find the show, and also some of the older shows will be moved over to live soon, and some of the newer ones as well. So it's being pushed out to YouTube and LinkedIn and some other places. But iTunes, of course, is where you can find the shows, and also Podomatic. That's good for you too. So is any way that you like to listen, you can find out more about the show. And also, I would hope that you will leave a review on iTunes if you like what you've heard. That'd be great. Or also on the blog, you can leave your comments, and you can also send a message if there's some topics you'd like to hear more about coming up. I would love to find out what your feedback is on that. So please do. So we're going to get started with my guest, Erin Summ. And for the past 10 years, Erin has been on her own journey from shy to confident. She used to be so fearful of being seen and heard in school. If she thought about asking a question, she would get flushed, clammy, and her heart would race. She would chicken out, but she always knew she was put on the planet for a reason. Her vision was bigger than her fears. Fast forward 10 years, and she has a thriving coaching business, is a speaker, hosts her own events, and is a frequent Facebook Live video maker. So welcome to the show, Erin. That's a really terrific story there.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I like that. I really do. But, before we get into all of this conversation, if, you could share a bit about your entrepreneurial journey. What led you to say, okay, I'm going to start this business?
Yeah. So, well, I've always kind of been entrepreneurial ever since I was a little kid. I had my lemonade stand and all that stuff, selling stuff on the streets and outside my house. And but I always, even though I was always shy, I always knew I had a bigger vision for my life. I always knew that I was put on the planet for a reason. And even as a child, I would do things like I ran the local branch of the Kids for Saving Earth Club. I was the president of that, and I started my own little things because I wanted to make a difference. I knew that there was a reason that I was born and put on this earth. And I got a psychology degree in college, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with that for a while. I worked in a group home with foster kids, and I loved it, and I loved the kids, but I knew that there was more. I wasn't feeling as fulfilled as I knew I could be. So when I learned about coaching, it really just resonated with me, and I really fell in love with coaching and the possibilities, and I decided that that's really what I wanted to do. It was really what I was called for, to support women entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. And it took me a while to find my niche, but once I finally did, it hit me, like the anvil and Looney Tunes, Oh my gosh, it's supporting women like me, of course, the women who are feeling shy or who are introverts and aren't sure how to put themselves out there and are holding themselves back, but know that they they want to make a big difference in the world, but aren't sure quite how to do that when they're having a hard time networking and talking to people and feeling good enough about themselves and feeling worthy. And, you know, the women who have a lot of, and a lot of us do have all these, the gremlins and the I'm not good enoughs and all of that. So I really love supporting, the women that I support in overcoming their mind trash and their limiting beliefs and gremlins to help them really love themselves more and be more confident and shine their light so that they can then thrive in their business and make more money and make the difference that they were put on the planet to make.
Exactly. Well, that's pretty terrific.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just a lot of baby steps and giant leaps over the last 10 years for me to build that confidence.
So a lot of people now going into business may just feel that that's something they want to do, but really don't know where to start, and then having to put themselves out there. They are not comfortable. What are some ways that you guide people to really see that they can step out there and really shine? Well,
I share my story with them to start with because, you know, a lot of them think that I'm just this confident woman, and I've always been that way. And it's just not true. You know, I do a lot of Facebook Live videos and things, and I hear a lot, well, you're so confident, I could never do that. Well, look at my videos from 4 or 5 years ago. I wasn't this way, you know. It took a lot of practice, and so I really guide them to look at their vision. You know, what is it that they really want to do with their life? What do they want to leave behind? Who do they want to help, and why do they want to do it? And continue to stay focused on that vision, because when we're able to focus on that vision, we can step past those fears a lot more easily, especially when there's other people in our vision, if it's loved ones, or for me, it's my clients. You know, I think about, okay, well, if I'm not doing my thing, then they can't be supported, you know, in the way that I can support them to move forward and to be confident and get their message out there. So looking at, you know, who would be missing out if you weren't doing your thing is one thing that I share with the ladies to help them keep moving forward, you know, because we can get in our own way really quickly and really easily. But when we're thinking about other people first, then it's a lot easier to keep moving forward. Then it's, you know, it's really easy to give up on ourselves, right? But when there's somebody else, we will fight to the death for other people. Right. So it's a lot easier to keep moving forward when we're focusing on what will it do for them. Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way, that they maybe would do more for someone else than they would do for themselves. So that is an excellent point. So, you know, for instance, when you had to, let's say you're going to go and speak in front of people, how did you overcome that you felt better about doing that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was definitely scared, you know. And the very first time I gave a speech, it was to a group of people that I'd been networking with every single week for several months. And it was a small group. So that's where I got started. They had asked me to speak and talk about, I think it was life purpose at that point. And I was really scared, and I practiced a lot, and I wrote out the entire thing, you know. And but I did it because I knew, again, I went back to my vision, you know, what am I put on the planet for? I'm put on the planet to make a big difference for people. And in order to do that, I have to be out there in a bigger way. I have to get past my own fears and get out of my comfort zone to do that. But I was able to stay in my comfort zone enough by doing, you know, giving the first speech to a small group of people who I was really comfortable with, which is a great way to start. So if they can, you know, if you can talk to your friends, give a speech to your friends, or you can start networking with a group and get really comfortable with them, and then give a small speech to them, that's a great way to do it. Or even just making videos, you know, instead of going on Facebook Live for the first time you make a video, make some videos on your phone and record them and then post them later. So then you can edit them, or you can start over. You know?
Right. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So, you know, some people, you know, they think that they have to take these big leaps all the time, and that's just not true. You can take lots of baby steps. Just take a little stretch out of your comfort zone until you get comfortable there, and then take another little baby step if that's what you need to do in order to gain confidence. Because the more you step out of your comfort zone, the more you're going to gain confidence, and the more your comfort zone is going to stretch and grow, and you're going to be able to do bigger things the more you take those baby steps.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. You really just have to start out in a little ways, and then work your way up to where you want to be, as opposed to thinking you have to stand out there all at once. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And you have your Stand Up and Shine 60-day confidence discovery journal.
Yes.
So, what's included in that? How do you use that to help folks to step into their greatness and what they should be doing?
Yeah, so the journal is a great way to start as well with building your confidence, and I have a confidence challenge on Facebook that you can do along with that. So the journal it starts out kind of telling my story, and then you write down, it has a little chart at the beginning, and you write down all the areas of your life. So whether you are a wife, an entrepreneur, a mother, a sister, different areas of your life, and then you write down whether you shine in those areas or whether you hide your light in those areas. And then we go through the journal, and every week there's several questions at the end of the week to ask you, where did you step out of your comfort zone? Where were you fearful? Did you overcome some fears? Different things like that to get you thinking about where you maybe built some confidence this week. And then every day there's a little prompt as well so that you can gain confidence in little tiny ways every day, so that over the 60 days you can be more confident by the end. And then at the end of the journal, you write out the areas of your life again, and whether you shifted and changed over those 60 days in any of those areas. Are you shining your light a little bit more with your family, for example, or in your business? So it's a really great way to start on your confidence building journey. And if you want to join the confidence challenge on Facebook too, then that's another extra step. You have other people supporting you. I have a weekly video in there where I talk about things like overcoming your fears, having more courage, your vision, loving yourself more. Self-love is so important. And then there's a daily prompt in there as well to help you to move forward every day for 60 days.
Well, that's really great. That sounds like something that would be so helpful for so many people. Is that based, I guess, on your own journey, or did you get some ideas for creating that from working with different people? Like what prompted you to say, I want to put this out here?
Yeah, it's based on my journey, and it's also, based on some of my clients' journeys and where I've seen a lot of patterns, of course, in my clients. And I just thought that would be a great way to support them in a way that they can do it on their own, or they can do it with me or in the challenge. So it's a simple way to get started on your confidence journey.
Well, that's true. So I think any kind of way that you can guide people to help them to see how they can take these steps forward, has to be very, very beneficial. I think, I just was wondering, people that you work with, have you dealt with anyone who's really so sure they can't do it, and then they really end up blossoming? Have you had a lot of those situations?
Yeah, so I have a couple of people that come to mind. One woman was so sure for so long, so many years, that her husband wasn't supportive of her in her business, and she has a full-time or a part-time job, and she was trying to build her business on the side, and she, long time she kept saying, I just feel like he's not supportive of me, and it's really hard when your husband's not supportive. And one day she finally hired me, and we were talking, and it just clicked for her one day. She's, oh my God, it's not my husband at all. She's like, he's totally supportive. He really wants me to be successful. He's so supportive. She says, it's my dad. And her dad has been gone for 25 years. And
Wow.
she finally recognized by some question that I asked her, it triggered in her that the memory that her dad always would say all growing up, that women couldn't be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And he went so far as to quit a job that he had been in when a woman had been hired as his boss.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So even though he'd been dead for 20-something years, she'd been carrying this message way back in her subconscious mind that said, I can't be successful because I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so as soon as she recognized that in herself, it was like she was a totally new person. She started teaching classes and speaking and doing all these things that she'd never done before. I mean, literally within a few weeks or less. She's
wow.
It was just amazing how much she had shifted just by that one realization. Yeah, and that happens with a lot of us. I mean, we have so many limiting beliefs that we picked up when we were 4 years old. You know, for example, when we were just tiny little things, we didn't have, we didn't know how to think any differently. So we picked up these beliefs, and some of us, we're carrying these beliefs from when we were little around with us, and it's still holding us back. So it's important to get somebody to support you, a coach or a mentor who can see things outside of yourself, or can ask questions to get you to think differently and to recognize those things. So that was a really interesting one. I had another one as well. She was an author, and she could not publish her books, not because she wasn't trying. I mean, because she wasn't trying, because she was fearful, right, to put it out there. And soon after we began, she realized again it was an issue from childhood, and she was able to work through that, and she got the tools to support her, and soon after she had this major breakthrough, and she started sending her books out to publishers, and
wow,
just amazing what can happen when you just make that little realization. It's not a little realization, it can be a huge breakthrough,
you're right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really great. These people may not realize that what they have believed is what's really holding them back. Like you were saying, that the person who thought it was their husband, but it really was something else that they didn't know at first,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like I said, I'd known her for a good couple years, and I heard her say that so many times. And we finally started working together, and she's like, oh my God, it wasn't him at all.
Wow, that must have been
pretty incredible.
Yeah, that must have been some realization for her. So it's pretty exciting for her to realize finally.
Yeah.
what was going on? Oh my goodness. So, I had a chat with someone who's an introvert, and I definitely know what that's about. And she felt, a lot of times there's the idea of selling is not something that she's comfortable with. And obviously, if they're a business owner, you have to get out there and do these things. How do you handle that? I guess yourself, and how do you guide the people that you work with who are seeing the things they have to do and just feel like, oh, I can't really sell, because maybe they think selling is something you have to be really overbearing.
Yeah. And, it took me a while to figure that out for myself too, because, there are certain, coaches and mentors out there that want you to sell in a certain way that doesn't feel good for you. It might not feel good for other people on the receiving end either.
Right.
Right. So, you really have to find the way that works for you. I never want to be pushy, and I never want to make anyone feel like they're being pushed into working with me or buying anything from me. So I had to go on my own journey to find a way to sell that works for me in a very heart-centered, loving way. I want to support them. I don't want to push them into anything that they don't want to use or they're not ready for. So really finding the way that works for you, that feels really good for you. is really important. You know, if somebody is wanting to sell you their sales system and scripts and stuff, make sure that really works for you. You know what I mean? So that you don't feel, if you have to feel in integrity with yourself. If you're feeling icky with the way that you're selling, then change the way you're selling, right? So, you know, I like to make it fun and, you know, really, really let them know what the benefit is for them, you know, and if they're not ready to buy, then that's fine, you know, just keep supporting them and inviting them to hang out with you, you know, and in free events and things until they're ready. And they might never be ready, or they might be ready next week. You never know. But I always just want to support people in the way that I can support them in the way that they're ready for. Especially for introverts, you know, it can be harder to feel comfortable with the selling. There's a worth piece there. You know, am I worth making the money? Am I worth, you know, being successful? You know, that there's that, am I good enough piece, right? Especially for a lot of us women. And so working on that, you are good enough piece and helping them to understand that they are good enough and where their value lies and what they're really good at and all of that, to help them to understand that they really are worth being successful and what they really, where they shine and where they can support people in the way that works best for them.
Yeah. Right. And that makes a lot of sense too, because it would seem that a lot of the things out here now, people, as you said, are kind of telling people how to sell based on maybe what they do or what they think their blueprint is. And that may not fit what someone else needs to do. Right.
Yeah. Some people might react really well to, you know, buy this now or lose out, you know, people might not, you know, and so it just depends on, like you said, your blueprint, your personality. And so it's important to know, the way your clients will react to things too, you know, what they need, what their personality style is. You know, some people have clients like me who are introverts and have a certain personality style, and other people have other personality styles if they're more extroverted or out there and, you know, much bigger personalities. It just depends on the person and their personality. Like you just have to know your clientele.
That's true. That's a good point that you made, because I think people who are saying, you know, do it this way or that way, or maybe basing it on what they do, but they're not really looking at that everybody's client, you may not reach them that same way, you know. They may not want all that, you know, whatever it is you're telling them, like you said, oh, you know, there's only 3 left, you better hurry up.
Yeah. Some people might really love the way somebody sells, and somebody might just be completely turned off by it. So you just have to know your clients.
Right. Right. That would help, right?
Yeah. It helps when you know what your clients like.
Right. That's so true. It's like it better. And if you don't, that's not going to work very well.
Right.
That is a good point, really. It seems obvious, but it really isn't, you know, because
if you follow a certain person and they're teaching you a certain thing and it's completely opposite of what your clients will react to, then you know, not gonna go too far.
That's true. That's so true. Oh my goodness. That's the thing that people to keep in mind, that maybe it doesn't translate just the same way that you think it will, and you're busy following someone else.
Yeah, I mean, because some people are quick action takers, for example, and they might react really well to well, if you buy with me while you're on the phone, you're gonna get this, this, and this, but if you hang up, then you won't, or whatever. Right. Some people might be really good at that, whereas other people, like myself, for example, I need to think about it. I need to weigh the pros and cons. I need to really, like, you know, look at my bank account and think about all the things, right? I have to really mull it over, and kind of technique does not work for me at all. So you gotta know, the personalities.
Right. That's true. And I think that's the thing people may not realize, when they're copying someone else who they may think, oh, I like what they're doing, but then you're not thinking, well, is that your same audience?
Right.
That you're reaching. And also, as we're talking about now, it's the personality may be different in who you are, and maybe this person you're following is a totally different personality, so that works for them. Mm-hmm. But it may not work for you in the same way.
Yeah.
When you're working with people and they really want to feel better or do better, and is this process something that you think depends on the person, or is there a certain amount of time that you think someone should give themselves when they're working on this and they want to really step out here? Let's say they're starting a business and they're like, well, how long is it going to take?
Yeah, I know. Well, we live in that, like, want it right now society.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, sister, but you can't go from kind of confident tomorrow. I wish you could, but
I wouldn't be instantly confident, so I can go
right. Here's this pill. I'm gonna get it. Tomorrow you'll be confident. Right. Well, it totally depends on the person. I mean, it depends on where they're at, how much work they've done on themselves, how shy they are, or how scared they are to put themselves out there. I have a meetup, and sometimes I'll have women who will say to me, well, I drove all the way to the meetup and I parked, and then I got too scared and I went home.
Oh my goodness.
Because they're just so shy and introverted, right? And I also want to make a distinction between shy and introverted. Just because you're an introvert, it doesn't make you shy, and just because you're shy, it doesn't make you an introvert. You can be a shy extrovert, or you can be a confident introvert. They're totally separate things. Mm-hmm. So I just want to make that distinction.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah. So, some of the ladies are more on the shy or introverted side, where they're very, very fearful of showing up in the group or in a group setting. And so it's going to take them longer to, get comfortable showing up. And so it's important for me, to keep reaching out to these people, try to get them on the phone, get them more comfortable, and then they'll start warming up and then to show up and start being more active in the community. So it depends on the person, if they're that shy or uncomfortable being in groups, it's going to take them longer. Mm-hmm. They might have more limiting beliefs and gremlins to overcome. And then some women might not be as, that far on the spectrum. They might be more in the middle. And so it's not going to take them as long. So it just kind of depends on the person. I like to work with people at least 6 months, because even if you have a major breakthrough, like the women that I told you about earlier, they're still going to have stuff come up. Yeah. It might be tomorrow, it might be in a week, it might be in a month or two. But the more we might get comfortable with this one thing over here, but then our comfort zone grows, and we start to get uncomfortable again. And then all these, we start to play bigger, and the limiting beliefs come up for that piece. Mm-hmm. Right. And so then you have to have the coaching around that breakthrough, right? And then build your confidence there. And then you get confident doing this thing, and then, well, here's the next big thing. And so it's constant evolution. We're not just going to arrive one day and say, good, might have clients come and go. I have, it's never just, I've arrived,
Mm-hmm.
I always say Oprah has gremlins still, she has, but she's, people like that who have been doing their thing for so long, everyone still has gremlins and limiting beliefs. It's just, you gain the tools, you learn how to become aware of them, you learn how to recognize them and break through and overcome them much quicker the more you do it and the longer you're doing it.
That's true. I think to really have people recognize that it's a matter of, evolving, and you may run into things as you go on and grow. You're going to run into certain things and there. It's not that, well, I just did that and that's all I ever have to do.
Right. Yeah. We don't just stop. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm constantly growing too. I'm the confidence coach, and sometimes, you know, I have to talk myself into being confident.
Right.
You know, give myself the pep talk, you know. So it's, you know, it's
Right.
just, we're humans, you know, we're not robots. We all have our fears and things that pop up. So
Right. I think that's great to emphasize, so people don't feel bad or down on themselves, or they think, oh, you know, why am I going through this? Or, you know, if you really think, oh, I just did this once, you know, I overcame whatever, and now I shouldn't have to keep going. But it is a matter of evolving and growing and reaching the next level, and then you may find there's something else you have to look at. So. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and the bigger game you play, the more those gremlins and Lady and Lisa go, I don't know. God dang it, I have to go through this again. Okay.
Right.
Let's look at this. How do I steer, you know?
That's right, though, and it's really good for you to point that out, because I think that a lot of times people may see these folks out here and think, oh, you know, they've got this going on, that going on, and they look so successful compared to me having to get out here, and I'm afraid to do this and not sure about that. And they may not realize that people are continuing to grow, and even those people have things that they're working on as well, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we live in this society of social media where everything is sunshine and rainbows, right? Everybody's so successful. And we just don't know what it looks like behind the curtain. It's like Oz, you know,
yes.
There's that wizard behind the curtain. You know? So we really never know what's the true, what's going on.
Yes.
You know, in everyone's life. So I always say don't compare yourself, because you really never know what it's really like.
Yes. I agree. You're so right about that, because you can present such an image that has nothing to do with the reality.
and those comparisons steal our confidence. You know, we go, well, she's this far along and she's making this much money, or she's doing this, that, and the other thing. Why can't I do that? And you know,
right?
Well, you don't know what's really going on. You know.
That is so true. And then I think that it makes some people feel even worse, because they're thinking, oh, this is how I'm supposed to be out here. And that's not who I am. So what do I do? You know, do I have to change? You know, who I am to fit that. And then you start to feel like you're completely lost, because that's not comfortable. And it's not really who you are in the first place. So it's exactly. That's not it anyway. So then you're on this other path that's really not, you know, really not for you. But you know, what do you tell, I guess, the people you work with who are seeing all this thing, you know, social, that you have to be social, and sometimes there's such a push for people to do things like video or do this or that. And I know as an introvert myself, there are times when I just don't want to be bothered. So what, you know, how do you help people to kind of balance that out? You know, the urge to just not be bothered, and then the urge, and then, you know, the reality that, well, you kind of have to do something.
You know, I bring it back to the vision. Who are you helping? Why are you doing it? You know, I have those days too. I'm like, I don't want to make a video.
Right.
I don't want to go do this thing, you know, but if I don't, who might be missing out, right? Who is not going to be helped if I don't get out there and do this? Get out of your own way. We love to get in our own way. Right. Get out of your own way. Keep looking at who you want to support and why you're doing this. And, well, if you need to take a break, take a break. You know, go take a nap or take the day off if you need to. You know, and it's really important, especially for us introverts, to not push ourselves so far out of our comfort zone when it comes to, like, networking and being out there all the time. You know, we don't need to be extroverts in order to be successful. That's something I talk about a lot too, is if you're an introvert, you need to have that downtime. You need to have that rejuvenation, quiet time by yourself, you know, doing whatever it is that you love to do that rejuvenates you. Is it take a bath? Is it a walk? Is it reading? Is it just napping, or whatever can rejuvenate you? Because we see these people, again, with the social media, you know, we see these people, they're out there all the time. They're networking every day. They're constantly doing videos and all these things. And you're like, well, I have to do that too, or else I'm not going to be successful. You know?
Right.
And it's just, you will burn yourself out so fast if you're trying to be somebody that you're not. So just remember to, you know, there's a balance. There's times where you might not feel like doing something, but it's because you're scared. And then there's other times where you might not feel like doing it because you need to rejuvenate. Right?
Good
So
point.
when I'm in those spaces, I always ask myself, okay, am I overwhelmed or am I really tired? Right? Because sometimes it's just overwhelming. You go, okay, I just need to take a break for half an hour, you know?
Yeah, right.
I don't need to just completely fall apart. You know, I can take a little break and come back and feel rejuvenated. Or is it that am I fearful? Am I scared? Is it that I don't want to pick up the phone and make these phone calls, or that I don't want to make this video or write this email? You know, what's really going on? Did you get enough sleep last night? No, I didn't. So, okay, I am tired, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's really some great points, because I remember going to a conference where it was a writing conference, and I was giving a presentation with a couple of the writers, and we did one. And then we went to lunch and they had a speaker, and then I did something later on with a book signing with this gigantic ballroom with tons of other writers. And it was really exciting because I'd never done that kind of thing before, and it was fun, and the writers are really nice and everything. But when I went out with some friends after, the next day I could barely get up. I was so drained from everything and being around so many people, and I guess having all those experiences that were positive.
Yeah.
But I was so knocked out the next day. I felt like I was sleepwalking.
Yeah, that can really be the challenge of those big events, is you're there for 3 days long or however long, and it's so important to listen to your body and really nourish yourself, have good food, get lots of rest. If you need to take time out and not be with a group of people, you know, in the evening or whatever, do that for yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to be so exhausted and not, you know, you're not going to be your best self.
Right. Yeah, and that's true. And I think that's the balance that introverted entrepreneurs need to make, because, you know, you do feel it. You know, I felt it after the day, and I, you know, went back and did the presentation with them on Sunday, but I knew I wasn't 100%. And it was like, wow, you know, that really took a lot out of me to really come and give what I want to give the next day. But, you know, there's another thing I was seeing on YouTube where Oprah had the behind the scenes for her last season, and there's the episodes are on YouTube. And, you know, she was going like to California, to the Hollywood, because they were doing they used to do the show after the Oscars. And there's like all these people in her hotel suite. There's like the stylist and the hairdresser and the assistant. And I'm like, oh my God, this woman's never alone. I was like, I couldn't take that.
Yeah.
I would be out of my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I tell people, you schedule in your downtime. So if you know that you're going to be giving a speech or you're going to be at an event and there's not going to be a lot of downtime, make sure that you schedule it in for yourself. You know, if you have to take a day or two off after the event, do that, because you don't want to get burned out. You know, it happens all the time to entrepreneurs where you just work yourself to death and then pretty soon you're sick. And I don't mean with the flu. I mean like really sick.
Yeah.
And you have to take time off your business and then you're not making money either, you know? And so it's just really a delicate balance. So just make sure you're taking really, really good care of yourself and scheduling in that downtime and that rejuvenation time. It's so important.
That's true. And it's important to note, as we've been saying, when you're looking at different people doing business and what they're doing, it's almost like be careful what you wish for, because maybe that level of business, let's say, if you're in that kind of level where you're always around people, you're always having to be ready for being on, you know, an event, or that's kind of a high profile where you are aspiring to be, think about the kind of person that you are. Is that really fit with how you want to move through the world? It doesn't.
Right. And if it is, make sure that you design your life the way you need to.
Right.
To have that time.
Right. Exactly. That's the thing, you know, as we're saying, instead of just thinking I have to be like X, okay, how does this work for me personally? You know, you have the right to say, it has to be a certain way because this is what's healthy for me. Yeah. Very true.
Exactly.
Very true. And I think that's something that people need to really take in and realize that they have to just stay true to that so that it feels good for them as well. It's not just, I have to do these things because someone else is doing them.
Exactly.
Then you're miserable. And what was the point of doing these things? You know, you feel like you're really not doing things from the heart because it's like a prison because, I'm not doing what I really want or in a way that's healthy for me. So these are all things I think people need to take in as they're listening. But Erin, please share with everyone where they can find out more about you and about your books.
Yeah, so they can go to my website. It's easy. It's just my name, erinsumm.com. And Summ is spelled S-U-M-M, like the sum of two numbers with two N's. And my book, you can get that on my website, or you can get it on Amazon. Just Google on Amazon, Stand Up and Shine, my 60-day confidence discovery journal.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and I also have a free report. Is that?
Oh, great. Yeah.
So I have a free report. It's called 7 Secrets to Lasting Confidence for More Clients and Money in the Bank.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And they can get that on your website?
They can get that on my website. I actually set up a special link for you.
Wonderful.
It's, erinsumm.com/women entrepreneurs radio.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Because, I would love to, I'm going to definitely put that, in the show notes as well, so that people can, click through, when they, read your bio and go to the, pages where the show will be. So that is perfect for people to find out more and really get started because, I think, I don't know, I don't want to generalize, but I think for a lot of times for women, this is really something that we end up holding ourselves back. Do you find that when you're dealing with women who want to get out here with business, do you find that that's really much a thread with them, that they just don't have the belief sometimes that they can get out here?
Yeah, it's the belief in themselves. It's not feeling good enough. It's fear, a lot of it boils down to I'm not good enough. Right? Fear of not being good enough, fear of not knowing enough, fear of I can't get out there and speak because I've never done it before, or because I feel like I need to lose weight first, or we're constantly judging ourselves, right? We judge ourselves harder than anybody else.
Yeah, you're right though. People will think more about how they are being presented to the world, and half the time, like, people aren't even paying attention to that. Yeah. You're paying attention to it. They're not paying attention.
Exactly.
And so you're spending more time in your head, worrying about things that maybe no one else is really focusing on. So that is very true. Can end up holding people back because of what they think is going on, which is unfortunate. I think if you've got a message that you want to share, it's so important. So, Erin, we're going to wrap up. I know we can go on with this topic because it's so important and really something very positive for people to take away. But I just wanted to ask, first I want to ask you, when it comes to you and your evolution, you've got to be there for your clients and get out there. What do you do to recharge your battery?
Well, I love naps.
Yeah, they're good.
Just laying down for 20 minutes and closing my eyes, that helps a lot to just reset my brain and my body a little bit. And so definitely naps. And getting plenty of sleep, going to bed at a decent hour. And if I'm really tired, then sleep in a little bit if I can, Sleep is really, really important to me. Exercise, making sure I eat a great healthy diet, every once in a while, getting a massage and just doing different things. And it doesn't have to be extravagant or big, take a bath, 20 minutes, even just a few minutes a day, give yourself a 5-minute foot massage at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. Just do something to help you relax and rejuvenate and breathe. Don't forget to breathe. We forget to breathe.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like nice deep breaths and anything to really get some relaxation and take a break from everything. And yeah, you're right. Naps are really good. Mm-hmm. I like them. They're great, I don't know why they stopped letting people nap after like kindergarten. It's right?
I know.
It's why not? Why do we think these little kids need naps? I mean, it just goes on. So maybe I think if you can arrange your own day, then you should definitely build that in. You'll feel better.
For sure. And I don't know. I have a cat who's very snuggly and sweet. So even if it's just like 1 minute, I go and snuggle with him or just get that little love, going.
Right.
It raises your vibration and your endorphins. So if you have a pet, a cat, a dog, a rabbit, I don't know, whatever, just give them a little love. That helps too.
Right. I think, something really positive, I think it's always good.
Yeah.
So, Erin, we've just covered a lot of wonderful points, but do you have any final thoughts about what we've been talking about?
Just, you have so much value to bring the world, just put yourself out there. Just take a little baby step. Like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be a big, huge leap to start. Just take a little tiny step because your peeps need you. They need what you have to offer. You have so much value to give them. And, so, stop hiding your light. Just get out there and shine and take little baby steps if you need to build that confidence so that you can be successful and make that difference. I know that you all were put on the planet for a reason. So
right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I think this will be good for people to hear and really get them going and motivated to get out there and do their thing. So this has just been a great conversation.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Everyone, I know you enjoyed this show. It's been good stuff. So take it all in and visit Erin's site and check out her book and see what you can do to get yourself going and really appreciate yourself and get out there, and especially to the introverts. they seem a little misunderstood sometimes, but there is something for you out here and you just do it your way. All right, so once again, to Women Entrepreneurs Radio with your host, Deborah Bailey. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. You can also join in the conversation on Facebook.com/Women Entrepreneurs and on the website, WomenEntrepreneursSecrets.com. And don't forget to listen in on dvcoach.podomatic.com and on iTunes.